This session, I'm going to cover the forwards and futures exclusive to commodities. And when I'm talking about the commodities here, I'm looking at two major types of commodities, or probably the whole world of commodities can be categorized into either the investment based assets or consumption based. Majority of when I look at the financial related assets, stocks, bonds, and all, there is nothing called consumption in them. They are primarily investment assets only. But when I look at the world of commodities, we have to see whether they are investment assets or consumption assets. So, looking at primarily from the perspective of investment assets of commodities, let's say gold and silver. The important point that I need to see here is with respect to these commodities, there is a possibility of income and there is also a storage cost. So there is a cost, there is an income. Storage costs, all of you directly can agree with me, right? Gold needs to be stored. It's a precious metal. There is a storage cost that is incurred. Probably I may take a bank locker or various other mechanisms, but that's a storage cost that is involved. But on the other side, we are talking about an income from gold. Probably when I'm looking at from the perspective of investment banks, they borrow gold. They do the borrowing of gold from the typical banks, let's say from the gold owners. The gold owners, these investment banks borrow gold for various trading purposes. Now these gold owners are charging a kind of a rent from these investment banks, typically called as leasing. The gold owners lease the gold to the investment banks from the trading dimension, and the interest whatever they are charging we are calling as a lease rate, which means holding gold, holding an investment asset like gold definitely is creating some kind of income. But of course there is a storage cost also that is incurred in it. So when I'm trying to do the valuation of the forward or a futures associated with this kind of an investment asset, I have to consider not just the no arbitrage price as I have done in case of financial investment assets, S naught into E per RT, but I am looking at from the perspective of S naught plus U. U is what I am associating as some fixed storage cost for a period. So S naught plus U is the updated spot price when there is a storage cost involved. So U, what is that I am talking of? It's like a present value of all the storage costs in the future. The future storage costs, whatever are incurred, I am taking the present value of all of them, adding it to the present value of present spot price of the security, and taking it as multiplying it with E per RT. So it's as good as saying we are talking of futures contract. Let's say the storage cost that is involved is around $2, and that payment of $2, let's say for storage, happens at the end of the year. So I'll take the present value 2 by E per RT, right? Depending on the spot price and the risk-free rate, I can very well find out whatever is the spot price. I add up 2 by E per RT and get an updated spot price, and to the over the top of it, I'm going to multiply it with E power RT to find out the forward price of gold, especially if there is a storage cost involved. But in some cases, instead of paying a fixed $2 as a storage cost, I may be thinking of a storage cost in terms of a proportionate price. I may be thinking of the storage cost as 2% of the price of gold. Whenever I am talking of storage costs in terms of percentage of the value, just like the way we have handled a known yield kind of situations, here also I will be talking of the forward price as S naught into E power R plus whatever is the storage cost. Again, let me use the same word, same letter U into T. But here the U is not a fixed dollar number, it is more of a percentage or a proportion of the price of the commodity. U is proportion to price of commodity. It's not $2 whatever is the storage of gold. It is 2% of the value of gold that is going as a storage cost. In that case, I'll be using this. So whenever I'm using the gold, or whenever I'm talking about investment asset, investment asset which is a commodity, then I would be looking at S naught, whatever is the current price. I may be adding adding the storage cost to it, and if at all there is an income, I'll be subtracting the present value of the future incomes that I'm going to get by leasing the gold, and on the top of it I'm going to compute E power RT. And if at all of them are in proportionate form, I could have taken this as R plus U minus I multiplied by T. These kind of calculations do get associated if my commodity is primarily an investment asset. But now I'll take the study towards the consumption asset. If my commodity is more of a consumption asset, so generally there is no concept of income. Consumption assets are primarily used from a consumption standpoint, but so there is no question of income in them, but there is a definite possibility of storage costs involved. So if at all I'm going from a no arbitrage kind of a perspective, it should be something like S naught plus U e power RT. Now, this is where consumption commodity slightly differs. If at all we are talking of a consumption commodity, these two cannot be the same. Holding a forward contract versus holding a physical commodity. These two cannot be the same, because holding a physical commodity, sometimes we can use the commodity in some way. So using it in some way someday could create some other benefit, but probably holding a forward contract of it cannot create any kind of a benefit. And one more scenario is when we talk about in case, let's say, before I come to this itself, let's say the forward cost, the forward price or a futures price is greater than S naught plus U times E per RT. I may be thinking of borrowing S naught plus U at risk-free rate of return and buy 1 unit of commodity. Buy 1 unit, I'll even pay the storage cost. I'll buy the commodity at S naught, I'll pay a storage cost of U, and at the same time I'll do the shorting.